everybody, welcome to Fitness Challenge. Let me just make sure we are live and we're going to get started. You do not need anything for today's class, just your body. If you want a mat, that's totally fine, but we are doing unilateral movements today, which means one side of the body at a time. So all but one of our exercises today is single-sided, where they're doing totally one side and then totally the other, or alternating side to side, depending on the exercise. We have 8 rounds, so they're only 30 seconds on, 15 seconds off, so super short. So hopefully you are ready for a nice, easy as in not complicated. You can always make this harder, faster, longer, any of that stuff, always, all the time. So I'm not going to use any weights for today. You definitely could if you wanted to, and you could hold on to them carefully. You can definitely go faster than me. You can definitely go slower than me. So you pick the modifications that are right for you and the adjustments that are right for you. Make sure you have your water. And my name is Jen, if we haven't met before. Always open to suggestions, questions, comments, anything like that. If you don't feel comfortable commenting publicly, definitely shoot me an email. It's fitness@miter.org. We can definitely take care of you. So let's get started. We're going to go through, obviously, each of the exercises that we're going to do in our warm-up. We have runners, side kicks, lunge pops, tabletop kickouts, and back rows. So super easy, and I chipped my nail polish. Oh well, I'll have to deal with that later. Okay, so let's just start out with this. So this is the beginning of a runner. So this is also just known as a high knee. So we're going to knee up, tap down, knee up, tap down. So this obviously is option 1. So let's just do a couple on this side. Now, if you want to make it into a full runner, you're going to pop down and come up. So you're almost doing this like lunge. Like your whole idea is for you to, I'm running, I'm starting, I'm running. That's the idea of a runner. So this is obviously side up. So let's do the other side. So let's just start with the high knee first. And then if we want to tap it back into that lunge, we can. So remember, it's only 30 seconds per exercise, 8 times through. So it's a lot. We're getting in that time. We're doing it in short bursts. So that means maybe you go faster. You could also slow it down really fast or really slow. And you can get a nice, good activation of those muscles and time under tension. So that's an option too. So that's exercise number 1. So you can start some lights. So we're going to do right side, 30 seconds, and left side, 30 seconds. So 30 seconds on, 15 seconds off. So a pretty fast turnaround. And then we have our side kicks. So you can do those side kicks a couple different ways. If I want to hold on, I can just lift out to the side. This is option 1. Feels wonderful, feels great. I definitely don't have to hold on if I don't want to. If this side kick isn't what you expected, you can come up, come out, come in, come down into separate motions. And you can do this fast, you can do this slow, you can hold on. If you do a martial art and you have a different kick that you feel more comfortable doing, a roundhouse kick, I don't know, something else, you can do that here. That is fine. But I want to give an option for everybody. So let's do one more, and then we're going to switch to the other side. And so we're going to do a couple of this way first. And depending on how sore you are too. And let's come out and back down. So we're holding on, we're not holding on, totally fine. If you have ankle weights and you really want to dig them out for today's class, this would be a good use of ankle weights for today, but definitely not required at all. Let's do 2 more. All right, coming up next, we have lunge pops to the side. So we're going to start out with the side, doesn't matter. And we're going to just lunge to one side and come up. So this is option 1. And we're just walking, or actually option 1 is just here. We're not doing anything, or any extra movement, I should say. We're doing movement. We're not doing any extra movement. We're just the lunge and down and up. And next, you can slide that foot back in. And then if you want to add the pop, you're going to come down, pop it up. So it's not really a jump, because even though this foot is projecting us up, we're not having this other leg leave the ground. So this should be okay if you have maybe a little bit of a balance. Sometimes you can obviously hold on if you need to, but this is great because there's not impact on the joints. It's a nice soft landing. So let's do one more and we'll do the other side. I'm just gonna come over to the side of the mat. So option one is we're not leaving this lunge area. And you can obviously, since we're doing it 8 times, you can change every time. It's totally fine. So then we're gonna slide in. And you can definitely feel a difference in those muscles when you're doing a stationary movement versus adding in that little projection forward. You've ever done regular lunges and then add in walking lunges, feels really different. So let's add in that hop, or that pop it up and down. I like to hold it up for a second and come in, just to make sure that I know that I'm in control of the whole movement. Obviously, if you're going faster, you're not going to be able to do that. But just make sure you're in control the whole time. Let's do one more. All right, so we have 2 more exercises. We have our tabletop kickouts and our back bows. So our kickouts are just going to be alternating sides. So we're here on the ground. Now, option 1, we're here with just our hands on the ground, and we're going to tap that ankle, that foot, that knee, whatever it is, alternating back and forth. Easy peasy, no lemon squeezy. If that feels good, take those hands away. Do a little V-sit, so we're sitting back. We have a flat back. We're here. This is option number 2. And then option number 3 is we're in tabletop and we kick out. This requires a lot more balance. It is still single-sided. We're just alternating which side, back and forth, back and forth. Let's do a few more on here. And then we're going to flip over for our that side. You know what? I think I totally mismatched our, I don't think we're doing 8 rounds. I think I told us 8 rounds is 30 minutes, and that's more time than we have. We have to do 30 minutes total, so we might have to redo those times. But that's okay, we'll make it work. All right, so back bows. We're just going to have our arms out, and we're going to come up and back down. So you can either do one of either 2 things. You can lift up and back down, just straight up and down, or you can come over and do little rainbow back bows and get a little up and over, and up and over, up and over, and up and over. I do a couple of those while I make sure that I didn't totally mess up our time, which I'm pretty sure I did, but it's better to figure it out now than later. Let's see, what if we do 6 rounds? All right, do 2 more, and then you can sit on up. And I think we're going to change it to 5 rounds. So 5 rounds instead of 8 rounds. Obviously, you can 100% do this workout again if you wanted to. You're like, oh, I wanted to do this 8 rounds, Jen. That's fine. Just as soon as we're done, start again. No problem. All right. So we're going to start with those runners on side A. Whatever side A is, just make sure you're consistent that side A is always the left for this whole round and this whole workout. All right, so we're starting in 5 seconds. 2, 1. Oops. And I've already messed up somehow. Sorry. Let's try this one more time. Oh, there I see the problem. I started with the low. All right, try this again. Starting with those runners. 2, 1. All right, now we're cooking with gas. It's not like I don't check all this before class anyway, but I swear I do. I think I'm gonna need to turn my fan on in here. Whew. 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. All right, get ready. Now with this one, we really want to make sure that we are still moving through the entire thing. So Maybe that's a little box shuffle. All right, let it in. I still did it wrong. I am just a mess today. Well, we'll keep going through this whole round, and I'll fix it for next time. Two, one. All right, take a pause. All right, try this. All right. Okay, guys, we're just gonna go and we're gonna see what happens. All right, side kicks. I can't necessarily run that anymore. We're just gonna keep going and do as many rounds as we can. This is a mess today. Can't get the math right. And I know it does work. All right, get ready. Other side lunges. And we're moving. We're moving. Our side kicks. Oh my goodness, I'm a mess today. It's a good thing I'm not doing brain surgery on anybody. It's a good thing it's Friday. And it's not like I just had time off. It's a mess. All right, so now we're going to go into those lunge pumps. All right, popping it up. You ready? All right, now we're going to go down on the ground for those tabletop kick out, whatever variation you chose. Get ready. Get set. And rest, and then those back bows. And that will be the end of round one out of, I don't even know how many rounds. right, stand on up. We're going to take a couple seconds, get situated, grab some water, and then we're going to start again. This is very much a just give it up to the universe type of class for today. I think we have time for 2 more rounds. All right, so we're going to start again with those runners. Let's start in 5 seconds. So I went from 8 rounds to 5 rounds to 3 rounds. Ready to turn over to side B. Three, 2, 1. All right, then we have our side kicks. Now, since I'm nice and warm, I'm speeding it up a little bit. You can match, don't have to. Few more seconds. 2, 1. I really like these unilateral classes because it really gives you a chance to not play favorites. You can really see what side do you hold extra tension on, what side do you sleep more on, what side do you hold your bag on, because you can really tell. And the idea is obviously to get them to match as close as possible. Years ago, I went to a med spa and I was trying like this little like cryo thing, and they're like, oh, let me measure your arms before we do the cryo. Not that it really did anything, but it made, it was like a little gimmick, but whatever. And so they measured the arms and they're like, oh, I said, should they be equal? And they're like, oh, no one's ever is. Don't worry if yours isn't. I was pretty dang close. I was very impressed with myself. She was like, huh, I take it back. I was wrong. Well, she wasn't wrong that most people aren't, but she wasn't expecting my arms to be. And it's because I'm constantly working on unilateral movements. And when I'm doing things like press-ups and yoga poses and stuff, I'm really making a conscious effort to work both sides equally. That cryo place is now gone. But it was a fun little experiment. And I got to try one of those full body cryo freezes. And I tried a float tank. Honestly, both of them made me nauseous. I was so cold with the cryo, and I was only in there for like 3 minutes. It made me nauseous. And with the float tank, it was great when I was doing it. But then when I got up, started moving around, I got nauseous, and they're like, oh, it's motion sickness. You were in this floating world for an hour, and now it's like car sickness in reverse. It's like, huh, well that was fun, but I won't do those two again. All right, down from tabletops. Have you ever done anything kind of unique and interesting that you would either say absolutely give it a try or not for me? I would try a float tank again. I would tell people to do a flow tank again, or tell people to try a flow tank. I wouldn't do it without dreaming, but the concept was really cool. Some people fall asleep and have really good dreams. I knew I was in a Epsom salt bath times 1,000 the entire time, but no harm, no foul. All right, and we have those back bows. Now we down with round number 2. For these ones, I'm just going to go straight up and down. Obviously, feel free to do the rainbows. I like to alternate back and forth between the two. Especially since this is a lower body heavy class. Really want to get some back and some shoulder in there. And if anyone says these are easy, they're lying to you. All right. Ooh, I'm sweating. It's amazing how sweaty I am for not a high intensity workout. Like I said before, sweat does not equal good, or no sweat does not equal bad. All right, we have one more round. Whew. And then could be good with time. Just take a couple seconds. Grab some water towel off. Whew. And are we ready to go one last round? So if you got the juice in you, go for it. We might be a little tight on time doing the third round, but we're doing it. Plus I factor in all my mistake time, so we're still doing 20 minutes. But if you need to go, I understand. Alright, side kicks. 5 seconds. Other side. A few more seconds here. All right, lunge, pause. First side. So if you wanted to hold a weight here, if you were doing this workout in the future, you 100% could hold a weight here. Probably wouldn't hold it out here because you probably will hit it, but somewhere here, somewhere here. You want to go crazy above your head. Few more, this one, and then 2 more left. Okay, tabletop kickouts and back bows. Back bows. I'm going to do those rainbows one more time, and then we're just going to stay here on the ground and do our pull down and stretch down here. Few more seconds. Equal amount. Whew. Okay, so we have a very few minutes, like 2 minutes left to stretch. So you're going to go about 3 minutes over. So if that is not going to work for you, go now and then just promise me you'll stretch later. Otherwise, we're sitting cross-legged. Grab some water if you want. I am dripping. And I'm going to move those shoulders back down. I even want to know what the humidity is right now. Switch directions. Supposed to be getting a bunch of storms there this afternoon to really cool it down to be like 65 this weekend. Right now, ooh, it's humid. And come up. And up. Tricep stretch. And switch it out. Release, roll into that side. Let's do a quad stretch. Definitely work those legs. And switch out. Other side. Quad stretch. Release, bring those legs in front. Let's come up and over. Stretch out those hamstrings. And release. Let's do that again. Up and over. It's really lengthening up and then bending over. And one more. Up. Release. Let's come on over to all fours. And let's come into downward dog and stretch out those calves. Stretch out that low back. Stretch out that upper back. Bend those knees as generously as you need to. And then walk those feet to meet the hands to meet the feet, depending on where you are in your space. And let yourself roll on up. Whew. And then let's finally just do some inner thigh. We did a lot of those lunges. So really work right in those inner upper legs. And stretch out. Come back to the center. Heel toe those feet in. Bring those arms behind. And I want to thank you for coming to class today. Have a wonderful weekend. If you have a long weekend, enjoy it. Let's get some movement somewhere. And I will see you next Friday. See you later.